Hi, Hilary.
Hi.
How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Happy early Earth Day.
Yeah. Happy
We're so
early Earth Day.
excited.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
thank you for being here today. Thank you so much. How are you
Absolutely.
doing? Are you safe at home and doing all
Yeah.
right?
I am. Yeah. Thank you for asking. It's me and my dog here. So
Yeah,
he's the best company on the planet. I can't, I mean, we're thankful for them every day, right? But no more than
totally.
now.
Everybody's
Yeah.
talking about
So
how the dogs and cats and all the home pets are benefiting more than anybody right now with this.
yeah, he's not upset about the situation at the moment.
No,
Yeah,
exactly,
he's pleased.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started. We have so much to talk
Yeah.
about. You have done so much, and I think everyone already knows me. I'm Sheila, Habits of Waste founder and president, and I'd love to introduce you, Hilary, and I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself maybe and just talk about what you
Yeah.
do over at Lush. And we're just excited to have a relationship with someone like you and a company like Lush, and we'll get into all that in a second. But why don't you go ahead and just
Yeah.
introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what you do and all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I see your comments. Hi, Genesis. Hi, Mom. Yeah, so I'm Hilary Pickles. I've worked with Lush for the last 15 years. I am a North American grant maker. So I work on our charitable giving team. So that is my specialty within the company. We give to, excuse me, grassroots organizations that are serving the root causes of animal rights, environmental justice, and human rights issues and social justice. So that has been my focus within Lush. I live in California. I'm based in Los Angeles. I've been here for the last 10 years. I'm born and raised in Seattle, so I'm from Washington State. But the West Coast has always been my place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a great experience working with you so far. You've been a wonderful supporter of our work at Habits of Waste and the campaigns we've been running, such as Cut Out Cutlery and Drink Tap. And it's amazing to have an organization like yours support small groups like us who are really trying to make a difference. And it means just so much to us to have you. Be behind us really to do what we want to do. And so we're very grateful for your role in all of the growth we've had. So thank you again for all
Awesome.
of that. And
Yeah.
let's jump right in.
Yeah.
I think everybody's kind of the first thing I'm sure everybody's sort of interested in learning about is how and what you did to get SB 1249 to pass, and also what is SB 1249?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, jumping right in.
Yeah, jump
Yeah.
right in. That's the big
Yep.
one.
It is the big one. So SB 1249 is the California Cruelty-Free Cosmetics Act. So this was a bill that was introduced by Social Compassion Legislation, another one of our partners that we have worked with since 2015, 2016 on a few different bills now. This was introduced in 2018, and it was quite a process from January to September where there were, I don't think that we've ever faced more obstacles in trying to get a bill passed and then having it pass actually unanimously in 9 months. So
Wow.
essentially, what this bill did was it put a ban on the use of any newly animal tested ingredient in any cosmetics in California. So it went into effect 2020. So it didn't address, yeah, January.
Good for
So it's
you.
it's in effect now. And so what that means is after from January 2020 and moving forward, there can't be any ingredient that was tested on an animal that would be used or sold in cosmetics in California right now. So what that does is it puts a huge cooling effect on that industry in offshore testing in other countries, because if they're choosing to test an ingredient using an animal test instead of a much more effective alternate test, then they wouldn't be able to utilize the California market, which is the fifth largest economy in the world. Well, at
Wow.
least we were before COVID. I guess I'm not sure
Yeah,
what,
no, it's
what
true.
it is now, but we probably.
So I
Hi,
think one
Joan
of
is
the
participating. Speaking of my dogs,
Sure.
so yeah.
And by the way, anyone who's out there and who has questions, go ahead and put them in. I'll definitely ask your questions too. But I have a question. So
Yeah.
does this mean that companies out
It's
there
okay,
really
buddy.
do not need to do animal testing? Like, why does it even
Yeah.
exist if they don't even need to really do it. It's obviously possible to go through with it and not do it.
100%. And that's exactly why we were called on to be a voice at the table at those hearings, to show how a large cosmetics company is doing this. You know, we weren't coming in and saying, hey, this is a great idea, you should think about it. You know, we're like, no, we're doing it. We've done it since the beginning of time. It was never a question. There are thousands of safe ingredients that were already on the list for usage for cosmetics that do not have to be tested on animals, were never tested on animals. And we continue to innovate and make new products all the time with ingredients that were never tested on an animal. So it's not, you know, and the fact is over the years, there have been so many alternate tests developed and made available, you know, specifically for, you know, skin irritation. You know, it's like the alternate tests are actually using 3D skin cell models. So you're actually testing on human skin, not on a human, but on that model,
Right.
then getting an actual effect versus from an animal who, you know, does not share the major percentage of our DNA, who's, you know, not going to have the same effect. And you know, it's just, it's not, it's, what's the word? Oh my gosh, my brain, accurate. That, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not accurate at all. And so why would you spend the money, put them through that for a test that isn't even conclusive to how it's going to react on your skin? So there's plenty of alternate tests out there, you know, but our answer was, I mean, we're using fresh or ingredients anyway, and those aren't going to have to be tested. So it's like, if you have to stop and think twice about what this ingredient even is, why are you putting it on your skin that gets metabolized into your body? So that's just another way that we look at it as
Well,
well.
it makes perfect sense, and I'm sure when you went in there and you discussed this exact argument, no one could argue that this
Yeah,
should continue. It sounds sort of just old-fashioned at this
it
point,
is.
you know?
It's totally archaic, and there's not any, I mean, it's really, when you ask why is it still happening, it's because it's the way it's been done.
That's
And
it.
that doesn't mean it's right, but that's the way it's been done. I mean, we had the California Labor Board coming up against us because we're like, well, what does this mean for jobs? You know, like, well, there's actually a lot more jobs and a lot more sustainability in jobs for alternate testing for scientists, you know, than what's happening right now. So it's, yeah, it's very
Well,
interesting when common sense actually wins. It should be all the time, but that's not the
yeah,
case.
it's interesting because also with our work here at Habits of Waste, there's so many things that are just like you said, habits that we don't really think about.
Yeah,
And once we shine light on it and take a good close look at what we're actually doing,
yeah,
that's when you kind of start to notice, oh, well, why are we doing this actually? What's
yeah,
the reason for it? We don't need this in our lives. And sure enough, once the light is shined on it, people can see it, and it's hard to see it. That's the challenge. So
yeah,
great work for you and your team and the organizations you worked with to pass that bill. That is
thanks.
truly historic. And you actually have another bill that you helped work with. And this
Yeah,
time it was with our friends at Five Gyres, who
yeah,
we love. And we're working with right now, actually, to help continue our Cutout Cutlery campaign. And that was the
perfect.
microbead ban.
Yeah.
Another huge feat. And I'd love it if you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we did, alongside that bill, and for the animal testing as well, we did ethical campaigns across all of our shops in North America. So for microbead, it was called Ban the Bead. And it was exactly that. You know, it was showcasing all of the ingredients and products that we create that are perfectly amazing and effective exfoliators for your body that don't contain any plastic or chemical ingredient. So, you know, for us, when we're signing on to legislation, or if we're going to lend our voice to that support, it's really, how does this align with our business values? It's like, what can we offer as a solution? And it was another one of those things where we have a solution at the ready, and it was just a matter of, you know, being another voice at the table that can show what those alternatives, you know, look like. And so that resulted in, I mean, and obviously we were just a small piece of that because this was a national campaign, which, you know, Barack Obama signed into legislation in 2015, the Microbead Free Waters Act. So, you know, and that started also with a piece of legislation in California.
So now that you've seen two huge bills pass,
Mhm.
based on all of that, what's your takeaway from it? Do you have any suggestions as far as like if someone out there has an idea or really doesn't see something making any sense, could you give a couple pieces of advice on what could they do to be successful? I mean, I definitely know that we're constantly saying just speak up, go to your city council meetings, do
Mhm.
anything, but you took it all the way down to a very big national level and state level. Do you have any suggestions you can give, words of advice to anyone out there listening?
Well, I think that, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said, you know, you've got to, I mean, you have to speak up. So for us, obviously we have a business voice behind it and a reason why, you know, these specific practices either aligned or didn't align with our values and what we could lend to that conversation. But I do think that that is, you don't necessarily have to be that big business to get a bill going, because if you are seeing a problem with a piece of existing legislation that needs an amendment, or if you're seeing, well, gosh, this is a huge issue in our society and there isn't a law or a policy addressing that, you know, what can that look like? Do you already have a system in place in your community, or a vision for a system in place in your community where that could look different? And what would that look like if it was policy? Because you can always sketch out, you know, an idea for a bill, and yes, at the end of the day you need to have a legislator sign on to author that bill. And sometimes that is door knocking, you know, it's like going door to door and
Yeah,
saying like, hey, who's interested in carrying this, you know? And it's also doing some research about what those legislators might be missing in their portfolio, honestly,
right.
because a lot of them might say like, hey, I haven't done anything, you know, with animal rights, so it might behoove me to, you know, take a look at something like this. And I mean, because they're, you know, it's a political strategy for them, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like we as the constituents usually do have those common sense right answers, and it's a matter of, you know, putting pen to paper in a way that, you know, they, you can get somebody to sign on to that. I think also having a huge amount of support from your community. So if there's a good number of you in a community that feel the same way about
Right.
something and can actually, you know, sign on to that and say, hey, we've got, you know, 2,000 people here that really are upset about the fact that our, you know, delivery services are still giving us plastic cutlery,
Yeah,
right? For
right.
example, you know, and then it's becoming a big enough need, and you had a vision for how that could be different.
That's right.
So, yeah. And then from there,
So
it's, oh, yeah, no,
moral
go
of
ahead.
the story, speak up, go out there, make your voice heard. It really
Yeah.
does matter. We always say this again, like you matter, each individual person counts. And so many times people think that they're just one person,
Yeah.
but look, here you are, Hilary, you're just one person, and look at what you've done. I know that you were part of a large team of people, but all of
Yeah,
those
for
people are
sure.
individuals making and doing and taking action. So
Yeah.
um, we take our hat off to you and congrats for all your hard work and what you were able to achieve in big, massive ways. So,
Well, gosh. Well, thank you. I mean, yes, like you said, I was definitely team effort, but I mean, I mean, you're doing it too. You've got you've got it
we're
going.
fighting the fight too every day. We
Yeah.
want to do better, and I know we can do better. I personally believe in the humanity of, you know, the mass society, that people do want to do the right thing. It's just sometimes there's a lot of obstacles in our way, and what we try to do at Habits of Waste is alleviate those obstacles. So trying to
Yeah.
come up with solution based solving problems that are out there that just would alleviate some of those choices that we constantly have to navigate to do good. So we should just make it a little easier for everybody, if you ask
I
me.
think so. Yeah.
Speaking of which,
100%.
let's jump into all this package free talk. You know,
Yeah.
Lush is an organization that my daughter introduced me to. And to be honest with you, as you remember, the only reason my daughter was willing to come to our actual fundraiser last fall was because I told her that Lush was coming. And she was like, because she was like, Mom, please don't make me go to another one of these things. I don't want to come. And in the end, she said she'd come because of you guys. So just so you
So
know,
sweet.
I'm a huge Lush fan because my daughter has introduced it to me. And we go in the stores, and one thing that stands out is there's hardly any packaging anywhere.
Yeah.
There's the bath bombs, there's the soaps, there's shampoo. Everything is just package free. Can you talk a little bit about that? And was that the way it was from the beginning, or did you guys evolve to get there?
Both. Yeah, both actually. There were some products. So our bath bomb, that's, kind of the product that made us famous, and that was the original bath. Lush is the original bath bomb. Lush is the original shampoo bar. They're things that we've always made since, before we were even Lush, honestly. Our parent company, in Lush UK, so we are Lush Cosmetics North America, but our parent
Hmm.
company in the UK creates all of the products and dictates the ingredient list and whatnot. And they made the shampoo bars when they were Cosmetics to Go, a couple of companies before Lush. And it's something that was always forefront in their mind. It's like they're real true innovators when it comes to creating products that actually work and that are also good for your skin and good for the
I
environment and good for animals.
This
So
is this is Lush shampoo hair, which I use,
yeah,
just so
me
you
too.
guys know. It's amazing and it doesn't feel like
Awesome.
it. No, I didn't miss anything from my plastic bottle
No.
shampoo.
Oh gosh, yeah,
So,
my hairstylist is like, she's given up on trying to sell me anything else. She's amazing, by the way, but
right.
yeah, but she's always like, yeah, I can't argue with you. Your hair feels great.
Yeah, it feels
So
good. Feels
yeah,
great.
feels
So
good.
it is sometimes you give up something in order to be package free or plastic free.
Hmm.
And in this, it feels like I'm an advertisement for Lush. I'm not trying to be you guys.
That's how.
I really believe
Hey,
it. It
yeah,
was amazing to try it. I was very skeptical. Even me, who's so anti-plastic, I was skeptical and I didn't want to, dry out my hair. It just looks like a
yeah,
soap bar. So
for
then all of a
sure.
sudden you try it out and you're like, wait, I didn't even miss anything. And it's
Right.
just fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think our hair care is amazing, and it's just, extra bonus that one of the shampoo bars saves 2 to 3 plastic bottles, depending on what size bottle you're normally buying of shampoo. It's approximately 80 to 90 washes.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, those were two examples of products that had always been packaging free, and then along the way, there was quite an innovation process because, I mean, we are a cosmetics company, right? And so people expect certain products, and certain products are going to have to come in containers for us to be able to survive and for
Right.
us to be able to continue to have our charitable giving program and, to give back and be innovative. But, we also are committed to moving as many of those products as we can into a solid form that does not require packaging. And we've already done that
Okay.
with 35% of our products, and are moving, more. So then it's just a matter of, are you still getting the same effect on the skin, et cetera, right? Because it still has to work.
Right.
So that's something that we're committed to. And then in terms of packaging being, oh, I know there were a couple questions, but I think I missed them. But in terms of the packaging itself being as sustainable as possible, the black pots that we use at kind of our signature, we work with Ocean Legacy on harvesting ocean plastic that, and then making sure it's a high enough grade that it can actually be used for cosmetics
Right.
containing, so even though it's a container, trying to repurpose something that was contaminating the environment, you
Right.
know,
So not virgin plastic,
not
basically.
virgin plastic. Yeah. Yeah. And so,
It's a
and we,
huge deal, by the way. There's
it
so
is
much virgin plastic being introduced to our marketplace, but for no reason, really.
right.
It's another one of those habits of waste that we just don't think twice about, but really we
Yeah.
need to, rethink that.
Yeah. That, and just, the other types of packaging too, aside from just what you're seeing that the product comes in. So when we're doing mail order, which I mean is just out of control right now because of the
Yes.
situation that I mean, with every company, not just with
Yes,
Lush,
of
but
course.
that, it's like, what are you sending that product in? Do you have to use those plastic filled, air bubbles, or do you have to, I mean, the air filled plastic bubbles, or do you
Right.
have, or can you use biofill?
Right.
The plant starch based packing peanuts that are completely biodegradable,
By the way, I got some. You guys recently sent us a lovely gift, and the peanuts, you just put them even under the faucet and they just dissolve
Yeah.
into nothingness.
Yeah. It's just plant starch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's just
amazing.
plant starch, like puffed up. That's all it is. So yeah, it's totally dissolvable, biodegradable, and anything, and mostly now anything that comes in a gift set is naked inside. But if anything, for a melt reason, like a massage bar had to be wrapped, it's wrapped in plant cellulose. It's not actually plastic. So there's actually no plastic in those gifts
Good
and
for you
packages
guys.
that are being sent. you know, to the fact that it's like using as small of a box as you can with paper tape, and, you know, we're
Yeah.
not shipping air, you know, not shipping, you know, so it's just like, yeah, you can wait 5 days to get your product for ground shipping, you know,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
um, but anyway, making sure that, you know, we're able to get people what they need, but in a way that's looking at our carbon footprint, you know, not just in the packaging itself, but in freight,
Right.
you know,
Every part of
yeah,
it matters. Sometimes you see
yeah,
something that says, oh, it's recyclable, but then the damage it's done by the time it got to you was so bad that it's like, it
yeah,
didn't even make any sense.
yeah,
I'm going to stop for a quick question.
yeah.
Someone says, I know my generation loves Lush. Do older generations buy Lush products because it's environmentally friendly? Um, what's your answer to that? I don't know if I'm considered an older generation or not, but I
I'm
buy it.
probably considered an older
Sorry.
generation. Yeah, no, yeah, we probably are. I think we're the same age. So I don't know the exact answer to that question. I know that our major customer base is, of course, you know, people in their teens up to their mid 30s. That is our, you know, target customer in terms of who we, you know, the feedback that we have. But definitely have a very large customer base across all ages. And I don't think I can ask Katrina, who's the head of our sustainability department, if we've actually have any metrics around, you know, who is why certain demographics are purchasing our products and if that has to do with it being environmentally friendly. But I would
Sure.
also, you know, like to think that if that's not why you were buying it, that there's so much messaging within, you know, the package that you receive, or just, you know, on the pods, like with, you know, if you're getting a charity pod, it has the, you
Yeah.
know, name of the charity and like where the money is going and what this product is actually accomplishing when you buy it, that I would hope, you know, that people would learn something and then maybe, you know, continue. I mean, we do know that we have customer loyalty because of our ethics, and we do know that that has grown our business because they have been the same from
Yeah.
since the beginning. Nothing has changed unless it was for the better. So I think that, I don't know if that's not, I know it's not a direct answer to the question, but I can find that out if we actually have a metric on that and post it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing about that charity pot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really cool program you guys started. I'd love it if you could describe a little bit more in detail of what the goal is, what the mission is, who can be
Yeah.
on the charity pot, and what it's all about.
Sure. Yeah. So Charity Pot, I briefly mentioned, is a holistic approach to funding, really. So it's our charitable giving program. And the charitable giving program is fueled by the sales of the Charity Pot. So it comes in two sizes. The small one is $7.95, the large is $27.95, and 100% of the proceeds end up being donated to grassroots organizations. So what that means is the second that you buy it, that PLU is actually attached to our charitable giving fund, not, you know, our larger Lush bank account. And so from that fund, we're able to pull money to create grants for grassroots organizations that are working at the root causes of social justice and human rights, environmental justice, and then of course animal protection, which, you know, this banning animal testing and cosmetics is the whole reason we exist and the whole reason that all of this got started and expanded. So, and who can be on the pot?
Who
Is that
and
what you
what's
meant?
inside the pot? What's
Oh,
inside
what's
it?
inside
And
the
yeah, I want to know what's
pot?
inside.
Well, it's a wonderful hand and body lotion. So I know you can't smell it, but you can see how thick and awesome this is for dry skin. It's all fairly traded ingredients made from our Sustainable Lush Fund, which is a farm. Cocoa butter is the base of it, but the Sustainable Lush Fund, we what that is we actually give 2% of the money that we would have spent on raw materials to support fair trade farms that create ingredients that were difficult for us to get sustainably. So that way we're able to give, you know, support fair trade jobs in other countries, and then also be able to use the ingredients that we love and know work really well on the skin in a way that is sustainable. So it's a hand and body lotion. It's got an amazing amount of aloe in it, so it's really good if you're in warm climates or your skin tends to be really sensitive, and it really kind of holds the moisture in
And
there.
can you only get that product through the charity pot? Is that the only product that is
Hmm.
sold in charity pot? So if you love
Yes.
that product, you just have to go back and buy more charity pot.
Yeah, Charity Pot is the product. Yeah, it's
Oh, that's
one
the
of
product.
it's yeah, it's one of the hand and body lotions that we offer. And then there's other different, there's of course other hand and body lotions that are available in Lush, but if you do choose that one, then you know that 100% of your money will end up being donated to a cause that's supporting communities.
And so who gets to be on top of that pot? Who's lucky enough to get their name on it?
Well, we to date, since 2007 is when we started the program, we have given over $33 million now to over 2,700 charities. So,
Oh my God, that's
and
incredible.
100% customer
Congrats.
driven. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's that's the thing too, is it's 100% customer driven, where people are that invested in wanting to make a difference that we have an entire program now built around that loyalty, which is really amazing. And organizations that qualify are going to be smaller, so we're supporting grassroots and $500,000 or less at an annual income. So we're looking at, projects and initiatives that can really be started and finished or help to build the sustainability of that program, so that hopefully they'll outgrow us, which we've definitely seen happen. I mean, that certainly happened with Five Gyres, right? It's like they used to be tiny. I mean, and now they are massive, which is amazing. That's of course what we wanted
That's what
for
we
them.
want. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And so I think it's really helping get, those community driven projects off the ground and helping them, build capacity. And when we're seeing real solutions being presented and an ability to do that and just a lack of funding, then that's, where we like to give. So we obviously get way more applications than we can possibly process, especially right now is very hard for our team. So, to have to say no, we can't right now, because of course all we want to do is be pouring everything we have into that help. So we're doing as much as we can with what we have at the moment, and giving some emergency support and donating soap that was on shop floors that we could actually access to frontline workers and communities in need that can use it directly in service.
I noticed that you guys are doing a lot actually for the frontline workers. When we talked a little bit before this, would you share some of the things you are doing right now to support all of those amazing heroes we have right now?
Yeah. So in Canada, and this unfortunately was only in Canada because of, customs issues shipping across the border, but we kind of went back really quickly and made a scent-free soap, so that could be distributed across Canada. Because for anyone who doesn't know, we manufacture our Lush kitchens are in Vancouver, BC, and also Toronto. But our North American business is, of course, all of Canada and the US.
Right.
So we did do scent-free soap for nurses and hospital workers across. We're also now, we had gone back and since all of our compounders who make our products work essentially in kitchens, of course, they naturally wear, masks and things just to keep everything completely clean, just like if you were cooking, it's like hairnet, the whole deal. And so we had a bunch of PPE that we were able to donate as well, because we obviously have dramatically decreased production at the moment, just out of, the need. So we were able to do that. We did look at soap inventory across any shops that were accessible. And was the manager able to go in and cut it down? And did we have a community partner? And we're still working through that process, by the way. This has pretty much been my baby and what has kept me crazy busy. A bit wonderfully so, me and my colleague Jessica, and we've basically just kind of divided the country and gone through and said, yes, this manager can get in here, yes, this organization needs 1,000 pieces of soap, because they have all of these people lined up that have no access or can't get into a home or like whatnot, so we're just that's where we're at the moment. And then we still had some online sales coming in, albeit a limited amount for Charity Pot, but we kind of had to look at it and say, all right, do we have an ability then to do some very small micro grants to communities that we weren't able to support with soap that really needed that because of extra burden they're feeling due to the pandemic. So we're kind of in the process of that right now, which of course is a very limited capacity, but then we'll move back once our shops are reopened and we're able to build that fund back up. We're going to pick up the grants we had been working on, and move forward. So,
well, since tomorrow is Earth Day, we always say, in the world of the environmental, communication, that every day should be Earth Day. Every week should be
Yeah.
Earth Week. Every month should be Earth Month. And after having this conversation with you, it sounds like you and your team at Lush have really achieved that philosophy, in that your whole being is Earth Day every day. So we
Very
commend
much.
you guys for all your work and all your passion. And I just really want to say thank you again for sharing your time with us. I know how busy you are, and we hope that everyone out there has learned something new today. And we will be putting up some, highlights and talking about some key takeaways, and we'll put those in our stories. So
Awesome.
unless you have anything else you want to add or talk about, we could keep on going. I
Good.
know for
I
hours,
know.
Hilary. Every time I
Totally.
talk to you, we have so much to say.
I
It's
know.
just so easy to chat.
Yeah, it's great. It's true. And I mean, there is so much to say. I think I'll just leave a thought that, right now, I mean, you mentioned it kind of in the beginning of our conversation that, you can look at things as if you're just one person, or, you're just one entity or whatever. But I think this pandemic is also showing what an impact one person is having by not infecting somebody else who isn't infecting somebody else. And I think
Yes.
just we have also not only that proof in front of us right now that one person makes a huge impact, but we also have the time to audit, and that's something that we do in our business every single year. As we look, it's like, well, here are all the things we're doing pretty good. Here are the things we can do better. Yes, we're going to focus on those 5 things this year. And I think that that's something, whether you're, sitting at home and looking around your apartment going, oh yeah, I guess I didn't need to buy a plastic handled scrubbing brush. I could buy a bamboo handled one. It's like, what are those few things that you can do now while you have this time? And just know that the only thing that isn't doing enough is doing nothing. So if you're
That's
doing
right.
something, you're doing something good.
I agree with you. And I love that. Take an at-home inventory of where can I do better? What are some
Yeah.
areas? Check your bathroom, check your kitchen. The kitchen's always a good place to start. Bathroom's
The
another
kitchen
really
will be
good place to.
humbling for everybody. I
Yes,
think.
it will
Yeah.
be. There's so
Yeah.
much we can always do in there, but it's
Yeah.
as you said, it's a good time to take a closer look if you have the time, and really think deeply about your impacts, because you do matter. Each individual
Yeah.
counts, and I think this is a good week to do it. And starting tomorrow, especially on Earth Day, we can all do our part.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Thank you
support your
so much,
local
Hilary.
farmers at your farmers markets.
Yes, buy
Eat your
local, buy
vegetables.
local. We
Buy
just
plants.
heard that if you buy a carrot from the supermarket, the carrot has traveled an average of 2,000 miles to get to you. Can you imagine a supermarket carrot,
Yeah.
2,000 miles versus buying from your local farmers, which might be, a few hundred at the most. But
Yeah.
it's just interesting to see how far produce goes just to get to your little supermarket. So
Yeah.
once
For
this,
sure.
my farmer's market's closed right now, sadly. So once it
Oh,
reopens,
yeah.
I will be back there. So I'm
Yeah.
waiting for my box to arrive this week. So we're just doing like a online farm
That's
instead.
good though. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hilary,
Awesome.
for your time. This was
Yeah.
so
Thank you so
fun.
much. Thank
Thank
you,
you all for
Sheila.
listening in. Good to see you, and
Yeah.
stay safe.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, guys.